Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of ChatEBC, where we get to know the members and get to know about their stories, their business, what they think about EO, and just get to know each other in a slightly different way. So, as when we meet each other in person at the next event, there might be something in this conversation that'll trigger an interest in you to make sure that you go and have a chat to that person about a shared interest or a shared story or something that you find very interesting. So, today I'm delighted to be joined by Christoph. So Christoph is going to be telling us his story about himself, about his business, about EO, about everything that comes up in the conversation between now and then. So Christoph, thank you very much for joining us today on this episode of Chat EBC.
Hello, Stephen. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. So Christoph, tell us about yourself. Where you are, where you're from, because you've those two things are not the same answer.
No. Okay, I can tell you where I'm from. I'm from Austria originally. I moved to Switzerland over 10 years ago and started their business with my wife. Hang on, no, bloody hell, no, it's 14 years ago that I moved to Switzerland, and 10 years ago we started a business. And she's English, I'm
But it's
Austrian. We
because,
have three.
but Christoph, it's before you got married, nothing of importance existed. That's why. I'm trying to help you out there for brownie points. So
Yeah, exactly. That my life started 10 years ago.
correct.
And it was actually, we got together and I think we were working together within a few months. We were like, okay, if one thing or the other doesn't work out, everything is new and it doesn't really matter.
Cool.
And what else? 3 kids, age 9, 7, and almost 3, living outside Geneva in a beautiful little village. Yeah. Do you want to
And
know also a bit about my business or?
yeah, well, so just about, I mean, I don't know if the business is related to the move to Switzerland in the first place, but what prompted the move in the first place to go from Austria to Switzerland?
I mean, that would be way too boring moving because of a business. I
Okay.
obviously moved because of my heart, which
Okay.
was not my wife, by the way. It was a
Okay.
hot Parisian nurse who I met in Bangkok when I did an exchange program as a
So,
student.
sorry, I'm going to get my head around this now. So, you're an Austrian who was in Bangkok and met a Parisian nurse, so moved to Switzerland. So, those four things obviously go together in a very interesting story.
I mean, it's the most logical thing that
Okay.
you could imagine.
And
And
were
that's how
you
I ended up in sleepy Geneva, which I've never in a million years thought I will be in a place like Switzerland.
And out of
Um,
curiosity, just when you were in Bangkok, was that for your previous work or was that just traveling after college or something like that?
this was no, this was right at the end of my studies. I studied business, and I always wanted to do an exchange program, and it was right at the end of my studies, so I had nothing to lose and also not much to do. So I just thought I'm gonna find the most exotic country that I can think of, and where it's complete different culture and awesome climate, and that's how I ended up in Bangkok.
Wow, I mean, it's also one of these things that I love hearing EOers talk about. Well, obviously, this is the next logical thing to do. So, in Austria, studying business, Thailand. So, yeah. So then you followed this nurse to
Yeah,
Geneva.
yeah.
Then that didn't work out. You met your lovely wife, and you decided to start a business together. You said within a couple of months. Is that right?
Exactly. No, it was within a couple of months that we got together, and to be 100% correct is she's just started the business, and I joined straight a few months later.
Mm-hmm.
And the business is a hospitality business called the Hamlet,
Okay.
and we basically for the last 10 years we renovated an 18th century townhouse in the old town of Geneva and turned this into um, a hospitality concept where we provide very unique experiences to business travelers mainly, but also, yeah, everyone who comes to Geneva for a certain amount of time or moves to Geneva and needs a home. It's apartments. It's not a hotel.
Okay. So I was going to ask. So it's
It's yes, it's apartments, and we it's apartments, and we it's very it's basically our interpretation of hospitality. It's very private, it's very personal. You don't see anything from the outside. There's a community aspect on the first floor where you have a library, a gallery where we do yoga and Pilates. There's a co-working space. All of our staff members, no one wears a uniform or anything, even though we really are very much in the luxury field. Everyone, even if you're the prince from Kuwait, we call you by the first name. And so far it has been a big success, and we have lots of interesting people, from ambassadors to princesses to sheikhs but also young professionals. And it's a very personal approach.
I was actually going to ask you, are you allowed to actually say if you had a prince from Kuwait or not? But you've had princes, so there's
Yeah, from all over the
we
place.
can
We have one
understand.
at the moment from Saudi Arabia,
Huh?
um,
So
who I might go on a hike with on Monday.
very good. But so it's high end co-living. It's not co-living in the student sense where people are sharing an apartment. They have their own apartment, but they have lots of communal activities and stuff on one floor. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it's in that sense, it's not communal activities. It's more like we have a communal area everyone has access to. And other than, I mean, we do a monthly apéro and those kind of things, but it's because of the quality of our guests. They're not really interested in like big group bonding
Hmm.
experiences and stuff. The relationship happens mainly between us and the guests. And it's more that they have an extra space to work from and to do meetings or to do their personal training or the yoga, Pilates, those kind of things.
That must be really fascinating meeting people from those that kind of echelon of life. Um,
Oh, it's awesome.
I can imagine. Yes.
It's really because also we are. The idea is you go in a 5-star hotel and you have to
Mhm.
be Steven 5-star. You come to the Hamlet and you're Steven. So we have
Stephen
the
0 star. That's more my feeling. All right. Yeah.
that's like the authentic Steven, and
Hmm.
that's I think what people feel here. So we have such high quality people, but they come down in their slippers and bathrobe to the square where that's the communal area, or they take us out for lunches, or one like the aforementioned sheikh from Kuwait. He Every time he stayed with us, at the end of the stay, he cooks for the whole team, and we in the library. We eat with him. He provides wine and everything. I went to his birthday party, or we had two Singaporean ambassadors when they had their residence ready. They were staying with us while it was renovated. They invited me and Tara both to their residence for dinner, and it's all because they stay for a longer time. Often, I mean, we have short stays as well, but because they stay for a longer time, you really start to build a relationship. Obviously, sadly, that's the sad thing about now. This is I blame EO for this. The
Okay.
step from working in the business and on the business and no longer in the business. So all
Okay.
those benefits are now moved over to a very competent and great team. I have less contact with our guests anymore because
Okay.
I hang out more with people like you and
Well, so
think
you're
about
getting
what's important in
an
my life.
upgrade.
Yeah, definitely. In your case, it's definitely an upgrade,
Okay.
Steve.
Okay. I'll let you stay on the show now. That's such a sorry. That's such a unique take on hospitality, like highly specialized, highly targeted to a specific type of client. How did you get into it? Like, how did you and your wife, or how did she decide that this is what she wanted to build?
We didn't know that.
Okay, I
We
love it.
started with like three apartments with some IKEA furniture and some
Hmm.
like old things that we found everywhere with no money on a shoestring, and then just slowly, like took over parts of the building, and then asked the bank for money to start developing the building. And then with every little step we took, we got a bit more braver, and we increased the prices, and we we at some point we were always like hidden in somewhere in the one corner of the building in a small office, really ugly and nothing special. And we realized there's so many people who just come to us and want to talk to us, the guests. I was like, why do you want to talk to us? So over the years, then we built partnerships with really interesting brands, so that to also upgrade our, like, the furnishing is done by Vitra, and we work with Aesop and lots of big brands who like our small concept. And the more we got into this, the more we were just pushing everything. But every time, and I remember when we did a big renovation and I did the pricing so that it's actually worth doing this, I was always like, shit, we're never gonna sell this for this price. We're just gonna go under. And it always worked. And with this, and because it's very boutique, it's very small, it's 18 apartments, and it's we don't do huge advertisement. It's more like this little whisper that people talk about. And once you're a bit in this, that people talk to each other. But often even our neighbors don't know that we exist because we are very private. It's a bit like the same problem now with EO. As I'm now thinking of scaling this business, I'm like, at some point people have to actually know a bit more about you so that you.
But actually, from an entrepreneur's journey, I mean, you see so many of these like startups and tech people now that they start out and they go, we are going to build this amazing, huge, and we're going to build it in such a way, and we're going to have KPIs and OKRs, we're going to have all of this, and we're aiming towards this very clear vision. Whereas more often than not, the successful entrepreneurs are like, well, we'll try this, we'll have a go, see what happens, and we'll iterate towards that. We kind of have an idea of where we want to go, but we're just going to improve as we keep going. So that's I really love that mentality of, we did this and then we upgraded a little bit and then we upped the prices. It's a cool story.
We had no clue, and to be honest, until very recently, we didn't even think about growing the business beyond our current building. And this was also to finish the story. So once we finished the building renovation work, this was in 2019, and then we basically rebranded, and
you
just
finished
before the pandemic, it was
hospitality
a
work
great,
in 2019. Okay.
yeah,
Right.
it was a great start into to like overspending on every angle. But anyway, because we provide apartments, we actually survived through the pandemic okay, and we never shut down, and we were quite okay. But anywho, so with this, then, the next step is now, okay, let's grow the Hamlet and scale the business. And we were like, okay, life's too short. Let's just press stop. And we both my wife and I took a business coach and just explore what we don't want to do next. And my wife, cleverly, she was like, actually, I have no interest in growing this further. So she left within weeks. And just the business, not me, thankfully.
Okay, I was gonna say that's a very different story than what I thought.
No, we're still happily married. It's all good, but and she's now heading up a foundation, and she works in a complete different sector and found a new lease of life and completely loves it.
Okay.
And I came out of it as like, I have no fucking clue what I would do else. I love just building a business, and I carried on. I so far carried on with trying to grow the Hamlet.
That's really cool.
So I stayed, she left, and yeah, that's where we are at the moment.
Okay. So then, I mean, you've kind of touched on it then, like what's on your mind at the moment. Like, so if you're thinking about expanding or looking at what the next chapter is for the Hamlet, is that kind of what's on your mind at the moment, or is there something else that's taking up a bit of space?
No, it's very much that. So the last 1.5 years I spent trying to scale the Hamlet, which got me from one midlife crisis, I feel like, to the next one, because it's bloody hard to scale a luxury brand. And you know what? And now we're actually close to signing a second deal. And the closer I get to this, so I have the contract in front of me. It still is, lots of things to negotiate and stuff, but we are
Mm-hmm.
edging closer. But as I get closer and closer, the more inside me, there's something that says, damn, maybe not. I'll do
Okay.
something else.
Okay.
So that's what keeps up a lot of my mind headspace at the moment.
So then, if we explore that for just a second, I mean, it could be just a fear of going. Actually, this is a big step, and everyone goes
Let me
through that,
get
and
some
everybody
towels
understands that.
because some tissues.
No, this isn't gonna be 5%.
Okay,
But
good.
it's really just if we say, okay, if whether it's just a fear or nervousness of the next big step, and naturally happens to everybody, or if you were to say, okay, I think my wife had the right idea and time to exit this now, what do you think you would like to explore? What kind of areas would you like to have a look at? Whether that's turning a hobby into a business or just going, hey, I can sell this amazing business and retire or whatever. What do you think you'd like
I
to
wish.
explore?
For this, we would have needed to build a tech business and scale it properly, and not just like,
Well,
oh, doodle-doo.
so I had a conversation with somebody
I,
recently who did sell a tech business, and in his words, it was kind of, that's it. I can retire forever now in his 30s and travel. And he said it after 3 months he just got bored and wants to go back to building businesses. So
yeah. No, it's a very. I asked myself this very question a lot recently, and you know what? I think if I had to just make this decision now, for some reason I would explore things like to become maybe an EOS implementer or a strategy summit facilitator,
hmm
or to explore this avenue a bit, because what I really enjoy, what I realized is my one of my core values is growth, so personal development, lifelong learning,
hmm
and I think that's where it's a bit hard with the scaling of my current business, because it's if you sign this deal until the property is ready, it's in 2.5 years. You sign a 20-year lease. You have to then put in another 3 years to bring it up to a level where it's actually really make for business sense or financial sense. So we're talking 5 years time, and I'm like, just to commit to such long periods,
hmm
it's really, I struggle with that. And I like freedom. I like travel. I like different things, people.
So sorry,
Um,
just to be clear, you said you don't like long-term commitments and you like freedom, and you have 3 kids, right?
apart from,
Okay,
yes, good
okay,
point.
okay. Just
That's the stake in the ground. That's
okay.
my
Very good.
my rock. I wouldn't want to change that. And no, I love habits. I love regular things. I love doing a regular exercise and all those things. But just in terms of developing in life,
Mm.
I
But
don't know. Because I feel like I think I want to build a business or continue to build a business, but I don't know if I carry on with this, or maybe explore a bit for a few years and then go in a new business adventure.
what I find interesting is you've said like you enjoy like building businesses and building people and coaching and personal development and all that kind of stuff, and you've actually lived that quite a bit in your own business. I mean, you said in your own words you're now working on the business as opposed to in the business, and like it's a thing of you're a little bit disconnected now from your customers, but you have built an amazing team that is able to run it really well. So you've already
Yeah,
kind of implemented a lot of that, and I think that's great. Like you're living stuff that you want to build, which is great.
that is true. No, I'm very happy with that status quo at the moment. It's just in the next steps forwards.
Okay.
Um,
So you blamed EO for this. You blamed EO for being successful. Funnily, um, how long have you been in EO?
um, I have been in EO since 2018, so whatever that
Okay.
makes, 6 years or something.
hmm
Um,
Yeah, the 2 years
I
of COVID don't
started.
count for anything.
yeah, where I was learning chair, which was a great time, a great experience.
I was the president of my local chapter for the 2 years of COVID.
Oh God, yes. Uh, no, it was no. So when I joined EOS, when I basically when a friend of mine told me about this, I was like, I have just no interest. This is another business club. I'm not part of any clubs because I've at every business clubs that I ever joined, or not never joined, but visited an event, and I was like, never in my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, then I went to a lighthouse event, and Alex Osterwalder was talking. It was at the EPFL at the university, and I was like, whoa, this is actually interesting. So I joined, and since then it has been a really awesome journey. I've joined for 2 years in the accelerator program. Thanks to COVID, I could stay in there with my hospitality brand. Then I joined as a member. Then was learning chair. I'm now outgoing president, incoming area director. I feel like I lived the whole EO experience. I did lots of international events, and since last year, I'm also part of the European Bridge chapter.
And this is ChatEBC. That's why we're talking. So you joined the local chapter, which I think a lot of members, most members, are either dual or they've come from one chapter to another to join EBC as well.
Yeah.
What for you is special about EBC? Why is it? What makes it either? I'm not going to say better, but different from your local chapter that made you say, "I want to join that too. I want to be part of that as well."
Yeah. I think what works really well for me at EBC is I just love everything international. I love the global mindset, and that's 100% what you get at EBC. So that's one part of it. I think the people, the quality of the people, they are really people who, when you do your 5%, they do 5%. It's really things. It's just the experience itself. I think it's really those people of EO that I connect the most with, and I don't want to say the top 5% of EO, but it's the EO people that are close to my heart and or my character and my values. And I just love the format because I love exploring new places, and I think just taking 4 days off the format is really special and wonderful when you meet, you do some learnings, you connect, you then go into a more quiet place, and I feel the deep dives are completely different. So those are the main things why I really enjoy being part of EBC.
So I'm not really surprised that you mentioned the international element, given that you're an Austrian who went to Bangkok to meet a French woman who moved to then Switzerland. So I mean, there's a big international element to your DNA as well. So you've been to two? You said no. You've been to more than two. EBC.
No, I've only been to two.
You've only been to two?
I've been to Morocco and I've been in Berlin.
Okay. So what's been your favorite moment, or have you had a favorite moment, or something that stands out to you as that was amazing? And again, form confidential.
I think it's when I met this beardy Irish guy, gazed into his eyes.
Yeah, Mike is a good-looking guy, all right.
Wait, my favorite EBC moment. I really, really loved the my forum experience in Morocco, because it was just such a special place. I loved being in those tents in the desert. I don't know. There was some real interesting, fascinating energy and aura around this. So that was definitely my highlight, I think.
So just to clarify, anybody who wasn't in Morocco, when he says we stayed in tents in the desert, it was by design. Like they were good tents. We didn't all rock up with a little one-man pop-up tent and sleeping bags. It was a really cool experience.
Yeah, it was 5 star. It was glamping.
Yeah.
There was no Real beds
I
with no
mean,
showers.
it's not the same as staying in the Hamlet, but it was a very unique experience.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Okay, well, look, I have just five, and this is something that I'm doing on all these now, is doing just five random questions. I have an icebreaker general question generator here. So I'm going to ask you just five random questions with no rhyme or reason. Okay, so quick fire. The first one, what's the one thing you've always wanted to try but never have?
Base jumping.
Base jumping. Okay, so you're a psycho.
A bit, yeah.
Okay. Um, if you could live in any TV show, which one would it be?
TV show.
Yeah. If you could live as a
Whoa.
character in one in real life.
Okay. Oh wow, that's a tough one. I would live in. Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. Okay. Very cool. Very good.
It's
I like
just
that.
because it was the last one I watched, and I feel it's one of the few series where you just always come up out of it and feel good about life and laugh a lot. It's just
So I've only ever seen clips of it. I've never actually sat down and watched the whole thing. I have it downloaded. I have it to watch. And every time I see clips, I always feel like this is great. This is a show that I think I would love. I just never actually have the time to follow it. So
yeah. If you feel down or anything, just watch this.
okay. Next question. This is number 3, I think. Who was your childhood hero?
My childhood hero was my dad.
Very cool. Good answer. Is he still with us?
No.
Sorry to hear that.
Yes. Me too.
So then, what's your favorite personal tradition? You said you like
I don't
habits and
have
you like doing
traditions.
stuff. Well, I mean, personal,
Yeah.
like either something that you do regularly, or every Christmas I do this, or every Halloween I do this. What's your favorite one of those?
Oh, it's exercise. I need to stay sane. I need to do lots of exercise, which is it's at the moment it's CrossFit, tennis, and a bit of running, and ski touring in the winter, and yeah,
Okay, so only a little bit of exercise, you said. So you CrossFit, skiing. What else did you mention there?
tennis,
Uh huh.
which I'm rubbish at, but it's what I want to improve,
Okay.
and a bit of running, trail running,
Okay.
but yeah. I used to do a lot of judo, climbing, skateboarding, snowboarding. So it's yeah.
Very good. So have you ever gone on any of those the on the retreats, the early morning runs, like the at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, where the EBCers go for a run on the morning of the event?
I yes, in Berlin I joined them once.
Okay. Um, I'm too happy and comfortable in my bed. So final question: if you could
Yeah,
have any animal as a pet, what would it be? Now, if I asked my teenage daughter this,
it's
she'd
a
say everything. But
yeah exactly. No, if my lifestyle would allow it, it would definitely be a dog. Yeah,
okay. Well, a dog is the correct answer because that is the best pet, and anyone who says cats is just wrong. So
exactly. I totally agree with that.
brilliant. Well, that what better way? What better way than that controversial statement to cause a rift? So when the two of us go to the next meeting, all of the cat people are going to be very angry with us, but that's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
We can
It's
talk
like
about
a
this.
smack in the face. What
So
was that for? Well, I just watched the interview. Or maybe, well, if you say cat, maybe a tiger.
okay.
Have you watched Tiger King?
Oh, everybody watched Tiger King because we had nothing else to do, and we were afraid to open our front doors at that stage. So.
Exactly.
Christoph, thank you
Good.
so much for taking the time to chat. Looking forward to seeing you in person at the next event. And anybody else who's watching, if you are a cat person, please feel free to go up and give out to Christoph and share your experiences. And we look forward to chatting to you soon. Thanks a million.
Same here. Thank you very much, Steve, and look forward to seeing you soon.